All right, there he is, the boss dog. I wanted to start the video right here. He's not shaking so much now. Yeah, you can see him. See him shaking? And we're going to get on to why I'm showing you that first. Whew. Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. January 24th, 2024. Let's get into it. First video of the day. I'm hoping to make a couple of videos today. It's, man, I'm going to tell you, it's been absolutely horrendous weather for us here in Florida. I mean, it's been dropping. It actually went into the 20s on a couple of nights. And man, I'm telling you, me and the boss dog, we've been like caged bears, you know. Haven't been able to get out of the house or do anything. In fact, I shouldn't be out today. I hope the dog doesn't get sick from being cold, but it's 57. So I was thinking if I wrapped him up real good and I walked him around the neighborhood. It was colder yesterday. Anyway, just crying on your shoulder because we're not used to this. But why I wanted to talk about that was now I have an even greater appreciation for the people in North Carolina, because I bet the weather up there has been has probably been a hell of a lot worse than what we're experiencing here in Florida. I mean,
North Carolina opened warming centers across the state there, and state officials say more than 1,300 vehicles have been deployed to treat the icy roads. CBS News correspondent Dave Malkoff reports from Marshall, North Carolina, an area that is still recovering from hurricane damage.
If you're counting the days, Helene hit this area more than 115 days ago. But if you come out here to Marshall, North Carolina, just in the Asheville area, look around, it looks like it happened yesterday, right? This is all the destruction. Now remember, this was a hurricane that pushed in through Florida and had enough oomph behind it to cause some of the worst destruction that we've ever seen caused by a hurricane, but 500 miles inland. It is very, very bitter cold here in North Carolina and up in Tennessee, where the destruction is just everywhere and roads and bridges are still down. People are still in trailers. Just across the street from here, we talked to a family who was living in a bus with a little kid and his wife and his family living in what's basically a tour bus. And then right next to that, there were a whole row of trailers. Some of them were trailers that people found around the area, just like friends had them. Others were donated, and people are living in there, but the pipes are still freezing. I'm not sure if you can see the ice down here, but this is all frozen right here. It's very, very bitter cold, and people were working on those pipes just yesterday trying to get the water moving. They do have some propane tanks. I know that some churches have given out some propane heaters to some families who don't want to burn wood in their houses, because some areas that are just deep in what they call the haulers, these long mountain roads that go up into neighborhoods that are way into the mountains, they don't have bridges to get to their houses for emergency vehicles to get in, their fire trucks, ambulances. They just don't want to burn wood inside there, so they've moved to those propane heaters just to keep warm through all of this. Now, coming up tomorrow, President Trump is expected to visit this area, and a lot of people are welcoming that, including the Democratic governor here in North Carolina. In Marshall, North Carolina, Dave Malkoff, CBS News.
Since I broke my neck, I mean, right now, every inch of my body is just aching all over. My body prefers heat, not cold. And I can't imagine, you know, anybody who has a disability who's been sleeping in tents or temporary housing up there in the mountains of North Carolina. And the reason this first video is going to be all about North Carolina and Trump's work to get people who've been in natural disasters or whatever help he can give them. So that tells you about the Democrats. Okay, Biden had 4 years Remember the Palisade incident in Ohio when the train derailed? The Democrats didn't do shit. Okay, you want to associate with a Democrat, why don't you point that out to them? And then when we had the hurricanes here in Florida, FEMA and the Democrats didn't do shit. In fact, they targeted anybody with the Trump sign and said, make sure that if they got a Trump sign, we're not going to give them any aid. And then, of course, North Carolina happened, and Democrats didn't do shit. And then, of course, now we got California. So I just kind of wanted to start the video talking about all of these things. The Democrats hate the American people, man. If you don't think that, what other conclusion can you draw? I mean, Trump's been in office now, what, since 4 days? Yeah, 4 days. And already he's in North Carolina taking care of the problem. The Democrats could have done this long ago. And in fact, they're fighting Trump on this up on Capitol Hill. The Democrats are. And the Democrats vote for these people. You want to hang out with a Democrat, you go right ahead. I don't want any Democrat as a friend of mine. Not when I look at these people suffering the way the Democrats let them suffer. At least those people in North Carolina are being taken care of now. So let's start the video. I put this together. This will be a short video. Well, I want to talk about a couple other things before we get into showing you the clips. Trump has made the California, and a lot of people are criticizing him for this. And I'm like, no, I don't think he's gone far enough. But he's making the aid to California contingent on them instituting voter ID because he's like me. I don't think these people that are in power actually got elected. I think those elections, especially that mayor of Los Angeles, those elections were rigged because there's no voter ID. I mean, if you recall, we didn't even get a valid vote count on the House races until 38 days after the election. Do you realize that Florida, same day, we had our results in before midnight after the polls closed at 7 o'clock. Don't tell me California is not cheating their ass off, man. So in order to get merit-based people in charge of these places, California has to have voter ID. So I agree with Trump. That should be a requirement for them to get federal aid. The second requirement is he wants them to release the water. Okay, fill those reservoirs around. I mean, it's too late now. Well, LA's burnt down. But he's saying that the farmland in Southern California, you know, it's a great place. He says it's the next Iowa. If they would just release the water to go down there so that the farmers, as many of them as are left, or Bill Gates hasn't bought up, can farm the land. Because without water, they can't do anything. So I agree with Trump. I would go a lot further. I would say until you institute fire management, we're not giving you any aid, California. I don't know why he's not making that an issue. I mean, what do you think? Wouldn't you make that an issue? I mean, that fire in Los Angeles, I'm sure some type of fire might have happened, but if you had the reservoir full and the equipment staged properly and you know, all the things that you would normally do in a fire situation that the Democrats didn't do. You know, and you can't vote Gavin Newsom out without voter ID. They cheat like hell. Democrats cheat like hell on voting, okay? Understand that. There's no way California ever goes Republican without voter ID. All right, so let's just keep going. So I'm going to get into the video now. So this is Matt Van Swal. Never heard of him. I guess I'm following him. I didn't even know it. And I'm just going to read this to you. So let me get this straight. The USA had zero money for us, Western North Carolina, yet we absolutely had to send billions, and I'm going to quantify that, almost $250 billion. Can you imagine what $1 billion would have done for the people of North Carolina? This is how much Democrats hate you. They hate you, man. They sent all that money to Ukraine when we could have helped Americans here at home. And in fact, I'll tell you, here's an example of a Democrat. Okay, so I got the dog. Obviously, you saw that. And that's why I'm divorced. because my ex-wife, she goes, because I sometimes you got to tweak a Democrat. And so I texted her and I said, yeah. I said, now, what was it? I said, freedom of speech and America first. And that's all I said. I wasn't trying to be mean or anything. She tweeted me back and she said, what about Ukraine? Trump's not going to take care of Ukraine. That's how a Democrat thinks. They don't care about the American people. She's worried about damn Ukraine. I couldn't give a shit about Ukraine. I don't care about the people. Obviously, I don't want them dying, and I agree with Trump. The dying has to stop. Okay, and I won't get into that. If we get to make a second video today, we'll talk about that. But let's keep reading here. Send billions, $250 billion to Ukraine. Then Trump takes office, and now magically we don't have to send billions to Ukraine, and WNC gets help instantly. Make it make sense. Let's watch that video.
Highest responsibility and deepest obligation of the American government is to protect its people, and that's never truer than in times of emergency like this. Unfortunately, our government failed you, but it wasn't the Trump government. It was a government run by Biden. What a terrible situation. But our government failed the people of North Carolina in this horrible crisis. For 2 months, Asheville lacked running water, and even today, some North Carolinians can't take a hot water shower. They can't drink water. They don't know where to get it. It's delivered to them by some, or they just go out and somehow find some. It's been 4 months since the storm made landfill, and still 180 roads remain closed and in ruins. Earlier this month, the Biden administration kicked 2,000 displaced North Carolinians out of their temporary housing into freezing 20-degree weather. I don't know how they did that one, because it was cold, even while your government provided shelter and housing for illegal aliens from all over the world. But under the Trump administration, the days of betrayal and neglect are over. They are over. As I said in my inaugural address, we restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of the American government, and I think I said most of it in the inaugural address. We said a lot of things, but one of the groups of people I was thinking about is you in North Carolina. A lot of that was in reference to you and what you've had to suffer. I'm pleased to announce that under our leadership, the federal government will be surging housing solutions to the state that go beyond mere temporary hotel stays that ended up being very short term. The government wouldn't do it any longer, which is ridiculous. We'll marshal all available resources and bring back potable water and make your water and infrastructure dramatically more reliable very quickly. Today, I'll also be signing an executive order slashing all red tape and bureaucratic barriers and permits to ensure the rapid reconstruction of the roads here in Western North Carolina. We're going to go through a permitting process that's called no permitting, just get it done. That's the way they built them many years ago, I guarantee you that, right? We will get them back very quickly, and we'll begin the work of fundamentally changing, terminating, or overhauling FEMA. FEMA's been a disaster, no matter where they are.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
Okay, so I got the post. They're kind of out of order, so I got to be careful here. So this is, whoops, back up.
73,000 homes with...
All right, so this is, let's watch Trump. I just got to get the videos in order here. I'm trying to get them down. Okay, so let's get to, all right, we're going to watch Trump come off of the plane. Let me read you what it says. Whoop, damn it, I have a hard time. Donald and Melania stun America by traveling to hurricane-damaged North Carolina. Democrats have completely abandoned everyone here, praying for the families. And this is Melania. And I think, isn't that cool that the First Lady went with Donald Trump to North Carolina? I think that's a classy move, man. You know, I mean, you wouldn't see Michelle Obama or Jill Biden. They're Democrats, man. They don't give a shit about the American people. But let's watch Trump come down off of the plane. Okay, so there was that video. So now we're going to get into, this is Alex Jones. I know a lot of people, oh, I can't stand Alex Jones. But I'm going to read you his post. It says, Trump details damage from North Carolina flooding, announces new task force to fast-track aid, overriding FEMA, and thanks Elon Musk for providing Starlink internet right after the storm, saving lives. Alex Jones breaks it down now. Okay, so before we watch the video, let's talk about FEMA for just a second. Okay, so Trump is talking about getting rid of FEMA because they're useless, man. They're a political arm of the Democrat Party. That's all FEMA is. They don't help Americans. It's just a waste of taxpayer money. They ain't done shit for the people of North Carolina or the people of Florida, you know, and I imagine they're probably helping out in California because that's a Democrat state. But anyway, so I agree with Trump. And here's my slant on that is take the money that we spent on FEMA and in the event of a natural emergency, you know, talk to the governor of that state. Okay, if it's a Democrat governor, I don't know. But anyway, talk to the governor of the state, Democrat or Republican, and say, okay, what do you need? What do we got to do? You know, how much money, you know, can we send you? You know, can you put the people up temporarily? Do you need temporary housing? I mean, instead of FEMA, maybe have some staged, of course, that hasn't worked out too well. Remember the trailers that had all the toxic drywall in them and people couldn't stay in the trailers that FEMA had because they bought them from China and the air and the trailers was so bad. Anyway, sorry, I got off on a tangent. But what I'm saying is let the governors deal with any natural disaster in the way that they see fit. They're close to the problem. FEMA's in Washington, D.C., you think they give a shit about North Carolina or Florida or, hell, any place else? No. All they care about is lining their pockets. So give them money, talk to the governor, give them whatever you can. And, of course, we've still got the military, right? You could send in, you know, the National Guard, the governor can, you know, and the federal government can pay for it if they want to. Or, you know, help put together the Marines. From what I understand, the Marines are on the border now. I saw a video about the helicopters. Don't want to get off on a tangent. That's another video. But anyway, so you can send the military in. So what the hell is the purpose of FEMA when you got the military? And the military has everything that you would need to help people. And they would do a much better job than FEMA ever would. But anyway, let's watch that video from Alex Jones right now.
It's a lot of people. 104 people lost their lives. 73,000 homes were severely damaged or destroyed. And I'll tell you, I've been to a lot of them, and this was like lots of hurricanes in one. I've never seen such damage done by water. And the water came, it was violent, and it left, and there was like nothing left. It's really pretty amazing. We're working on it very hard, and I think if Michael Whatley does half as good a job for North Carolina as he did for my campaign, we'll be very happy. Him and Laura were a very powerful team. So you think you can handle it, Michael? I don't know. I'm not sure, Michael. I think this is maybe in many ways easier, okay? Maybe easier. But you're going to lead the team. Do you want to say who the congressmen are that you want to appoint? Do you want to introduce them?
We have Virginia Fox, Chuck Edwards, and Tim Moore, whose districts encompass here.
And they are the districts that were most severely impacted, right? When North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, when everybody knows the governor of Tennessee, I think, everybody? Do you know everybody here, pretty much? I never thought of it, but you're right over the ridge.
Right over the
So you're here to help. That's great.
This is the people in this region, including Tennessee, the people of Appalachia, are grateful that you are here and that you haven't forgotten them. And that there are other disasters, but this one was enormous for both North Carolina and Tennessee. So thank you.
You know, I've seen a lot of disasters, and when I came here right after, the day after. And when I came here, I couldn't believe it, actually. I couldn't believe the damage. And I've seen a lot of them. This was more like a tornado than it was what we witnessed. So we're going to get it very much taken care of. Good job. That's nice that you came. And so you call it right, you're right over the ridge, right, Tennessee?
over the ridge, yes.
I like Tennessee, too. Let's see, where did I get more votes, Tennessee or North Carolina? I hate to tell you, North Carolina, it was Tennessee.
There's one of the counties in this disaster that had 88% for you. So
88%, yeah, no, it's the people are just incredible people.
yeah.
Mr. President, what is your timeline for getting rid of FEMA?
For this one? For this one?
You just talked about possibly getting rid of FEMA. What timeline are you looking at, and how would you do that?
Well, we're looking here you're talking about. To start, we're going to start immediately, timeline. And to finish, it's going to be a period of time. You know, people are also rebuilding their houses. How long does it take to build a house, right? It takes some time. And I want them to build houses bigger, better, nicer than they had before, so they can have, at least they get something out of this disaster. This was a real disaster. No, timeline will be fast. In terms of infrastructure, I think very fast. I want to thank Elon, because Elon was able to get us communication systems, as you know, Starlink. We had no communication. The first day I got here, I was asked by one of the people, one of the really great representatives, professionals, that is there any way you could get Starlink here, because they had no communication whatsoever. And I called up Elon Musk, and he had, hundreds of units brought here, brought immediately. And it's hard to get. They couldn't get them before. And that made a lot of difference. I think it saved a lot of lives, actually. Yeah. Infrastructure-wise, we'll do it quickly.
Okay, so that was that video. Let's see. Let's keep going. All right, MAGA voice. We watched that one already. Okay, breaking. Trump just announced an executive order to reform or eliminate FEMA. Boy, I was just talking about that, wasn't I? And I will also be signing an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. That's the understatement of the year, Trump. Holy moly. So let's watch Trump in that video now.
I'll also be signing an executive order to begin the process of fundamentally reforming and overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. I think, frankly, FEMA is not good. I think when you have a problem like this, I think you want to go and, whether it's a Democrat or Republican governor, you want to use your state to fix it and not waste time calling FEMA. And then FEMA gets here and they don't know the area. They've never been to the area, and they want to give you rules that you've never heard about. They want to bring people that aren't as good as the people you already have. And FEMA's turned out to be a disaster. And you could go back a long way. You could go back to Louisiana. You could go back to some of the things that took place in Texas. It turns out to be the state that ends up doing the work. It just complicates it. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away. And we pay directly, and we pay a percentage to the state. But the state should fix it.
Okay, I believe that's it. If I have anything else to add, I'm going to go home when I'm done exercising the dog and myself here. And I'm going to look and see if I can find you any more video. And if I do find it, I'll attach it. Basically on North Carolina. I'm trying to focus on North Carolina with this video. And we'll watch that right here on the video if I can find anything.
It looks like a refugee camp, but it's right here in America. 50 families are living in RVs and trailers in this encampment in North Carolina, and they're facing increasingly harsh conditions. They were all displaced by Hurricane Helene, which destroyed 70,000 homes back in September. Now winter storms and sub-freezing temperatures gripping the South are making life intolerable for them and so many others who have already lost everything and feel abandoned. Shauna is living in a trailer in the camp called Haven on the Hill.
I'm sorry. It's been really hard, but it really changes you.
The families are living like refugees, dependent on donations of food, water, and propane gas. The food is stored in a large tent.
All of these people living in trailers, living in tents, in this deep freeze 4 months after the hurricane hit. Would you ever think that something like this could happen in this country?
No. I would think that they'd be more taken care of and I wouldn't have to hear about people freezing to death. And there's the motorhome that we're staying in.
Dee Dee Buckner is sleeping in a donated camper outside the ruins of her house.
Some days you wake up and you're freezing. We're not getting the help that we should be getting.
She is hoping that will change following President Trump and First Lady Melania's visit to the storm-ravaged state today. What's your message to the president?
President Trump, please don't fail us.
Sorry about that. I cut the video off too soon. So here's another video from Charlie Kirk. Breaking. President Trump lays out 2 conditions for federal aid to California, and I've already told you what they were, but I wanted you to hear it in Trump's own words. Let's watch that video now.
Funding to Los Angeles because of its sanctuary city policy.
I want to see 2 things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state. Those are the 2 things. After that, I will be the greatest president that California has ever seen. I want the water to come down and come down to Los Angeles, and also go out to all the farmland that's barren and dry. You know, they have land that they say is the equivalent of the land in Iowa, which is about as good as there is anywhere on earth. The problem is it's artificial, because they artificially stop the water from going onto the land. So I want 2 things. I want voter ID for the people of California, and they all want it. Right now you don't have voter ID. People want to have voter identification. You want to have proof of citizenship. Ideally, you have one-day voting, but I just want voter ID as a start, and I want the water to be released, and they're going to get a lot of help from the U.S. Thank you very much. I'll see you in a little while. We'll see you at the site.
And then I had one more post. This is from Insurrection Barbie, and I thought her words here were very important. The Biden administration, the Democrats, I'm going to put words in her mouth. Sorry, my nose is running because of the cold a little bit. Ignored the people of North Carolina. They made excuse after excuse about funding because they hate the American people. All of that was a lie, because in the first week of Trump's administration, he has moved people who were intense in the freezing weather into furnished apartments. Democrats always do what they accuse you of doing. And I just like that post. And then I got one more. Every time I do it, it pops down to the front of my folder. So anyway, that's why I got to keep at it. And this is Derek Evans. President Trump to the people of North Carolina. The federal government will be surging housing solutions to this state that go beyond more mere temporary hotel stays. So thank God Trump is in office, and hopefully that's it. But like I said, if I find more stuff, we'll add it to the video.